now that we have that, the shocking news was that we only have a very small percentage of our teachers that are trained in Orton-Gillingham, which is something your mother would understand.
Yeah.
And the Wilson method, which is
Yeah.
really the go-to certificate or degree, if you will, that you're supposed to have to teach a dyslexic child. So with that low percentage, it made sense while they were sending everybody away, but it certainly doesn't give parents a good feeling with dyslexic children inside the public school system right now.
Right.
So a lot has to be done. So we'll be counting on you, Eric, to help us with those resolutions. Because that'll be coming up pretty soon, I think. They actually have already identified a site in West Village,
Oh, good.
which would be nice and close for us. I have a child and one in the public system. And I joined this committee about the same time you guys did. They're now going to college. And so it's great to have more board members with younger children, because we have mostly older children, parents of older children on this board. So we're thrilled to have you all with your young children. And if there's anything that isn't covered on our agendas that you're just curious about as you go through your flying to school and moving your kids through the system, you know, we're here for you. So, yeah, so I guess we're just waiting for Amir. Oh, you're here.
Yes.
I don't recognize anybody either. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Long time no see.
Long time no see. So Amir is with the New York City Public Library, and he has some good news for us. These are only agenda items, so no rush.
Wow. How about that? Okay, cool. So it's actually honor, by the way.
Oh, okay. I am so happy you told me that, and I'm so sorry. I
It's
just,
totally fine. I usually only mention it to people who I enjoy working with, but forget it, you know, it's fine. So, but yeah, thank you all for having me here. It's great to be back. It's great to be here in person. This was probably, I started at the library the end of February 2020. And I think this was the only in-person meeting I had before spending the past year and a half completely remote. So it's fitting that it's the first one to have back in person. And it's been great to be in touch with the community board throughout this challenging time. And that being said, so the library has reopened system-wide as of July 6th. All of our branches are open again. We're calling it near full service because obviously programming, in-person programming has started at a very low level, and incrementally as things get safer, we'll be doing more and more in-person programming at our branches moving forward. Also, there are some branches that are closed temporarily for construction. So those projects are still ongoing, so those branches aren't open yet. But I want to tell you about New Amsterdam Branch, which was under construction for a long time. And we're happy to share that we completed that in time for the July 6th reopening. So we were really happy about that. That project is a $4.2 million investment, and it includes a lot of different things, new cooling system, new accessible entry doors, new accessible bathrooms. There's a hearing loop for the branch's multi-purpose room, and then modernization of interior spaces. So talking about really the way the offices are being used, the way the different rooms are being used, having different spaces for programming, and then new flooring as well. So we're really excited that that's completed. Like I said, reopened on July 6th. And a couple other kind of little announcements in the vein of, that Mike Kill is back. We've got a lot of exciting things that are, some of them have already started and others are still to come. One is our summer learning program, which has been called summer reading in the past, but only summer learning now. We did this last year, but it was primarily digital because we have so many of our patrons access our programs and services in person almost exclusively. Last year, we did a lot of, my team worked with a lot of elected officials to get folks in the hands of kids by distributing book kits along with PPE and food that was already being distributed. This year, thankfully, the branches are managing that process for the most part. So you can go to Battery Park City or New Amsterdam or whatever branch of your choice right now and pick up books for kids ages birth to 18. Wow. And so a book kit will have a book or might have two books. It'll have an activity in there and typically a way to track your progress throughout the summer, the progress that you're making. So, please head to the branches because those arrived on the 12th. So they're there right now. You can head to your branch, first come, first service, pick them up. It's 60,000 kits system-wide. So we're really excited about that.
Oh, well. We need to do that. We have to send that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And I do have a helpful one pager I can send to you all too. if you want to send that.
Are they packets of books that the kids keep?
Yes,
Okay, so they don't return them back to the library?
they're there.
Are
Okay.
they part of the curriculum that is upcoming for them?
I'm sorry?
Grade level, is it part of their curriculum?
I don't know. I mean, do you mean as far as like what their teachers may have assigned for the summer? Because we don't really.
No, what they made the following year. So no, the answer is no.
I think so. I think the answer is no, if I understand. I'm not sure I understand your question.
Okay.
They pick them up by the grade. They're,
Yes.
so it's age appropriate reading.
Okay.
I think that's what I remember seeing.
Yes, that's
It's
100%.
grade level reading for the grade you're going into.
So if you read at a less advanced level, you can get,
Totally.
and you can also get,
You get higher levels as well. Yeah, whatever you ask for, 0 to 18.
can you bring it in, return it, and pick up the next level or the next?
You could take both and keep them forever. Yeah. So whatever you like from whatever, K through 12 really, but we also have books for babies. And we have books in different languages too, Chinese, Spanish.
Is all of that on the sheet?
Yes, it's on the one pager.
And are the books themselves chosen for them and in the package?
Yes, yeah,
Do
they're
you see them in advance of going to pick them up anywhere?
That I don't know. I don't think so, because I think there's a variety. There's a
Oh, there
range of books that could be in any given bag. I don't think each bag for the same grade level looks the exact same.
Ah.
There are a lot of similarities, but I don't think there isn't really a rhyme or reason to be frank with you. It's kind of good luck if it's wrong.
Got it.
But the books that you get are specific, thought has been put into the age group that it's for.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so we're really excited about that. We have a whole new outdoor programming initiative that's about to roll out, where there's going to be outdoor story times and outdoor other kinds of activities. The Library for Performing Arts has an outdoor reading room right now on its terrace, and they've also partnered with the Lincoln Center, where they have this space on the green. It's that new kind of outdoor space that Lincoln Center put on, where you can do pickups and holds there to the library. Bookmobile service is coming back, which is very important, especially in neighborhoods where the branches are closed. So they're a way to provide temporary service for folks to do pickups and returns and have Wi-Fi access. So that is great. And I also wanted to mention we're going to be doing some cool exhibit installations at some of our research locations. So there's like the treasures exhibit where some of our I think we have one of the Gutenberg Bibles in our collection, for example, so that might be on display. That would be somewhere at our main location, where we might set that up, or at Schomburg Center. Some of these other research locations will be doing some installations. I think that's most of it. I did want to mention something that we're working on. It's still in nascent stages, but we're working on this Center for Educators in Schools that I think is relevant to this committee's work. And it's going to be kind of a digital virtual clearinghouse for resources for educators. And so basically this initiative is trying to make it easier for educators to use NYPL's collection in their teaching. And so there's also going to be a school support team that provides curated book sets. There'll be professional development services to educators. And there's also going to be some public programs and fellowships and other opportunities. Again, I think that's probably not going to be till the fall. I don't have a lot of information beyond that right now, but as soon as I do, I will be happy to share more. But I think that was most of what I wanted to share, what we've been up to and what we're about to be up to.
Well, that's really exciting. I'm so happy that we got the support to do all those really interesting programs. It has been nice to have a bigger budget to work with this year. And it's great to see it put to such good use. So we'll help spread the word through a blast. And then, connect people with you that might call the office wanting for more information.
Yeah, I'd be happy to pass my email along right now,
That would be great.
deal. So it's A, M as in Michael, R, and then KO, T as in Tom, B as in Boyd, at nypl.org.
Fantastic. Thank you so much again. That's really exciting.
Thank you.
Are you doing any of the outdoor programming downtown?
I'm sure there will be. Every branch has an outdoor programming schedule. So you should be able to get that from the branch managers or on the branch website. But if you have any challenges with that, please email me and let me know. Figure out what's going
Anybody else have questions?
A quick question, I just, for my own education, are there any like formal partnerships or relationships between the schools, the public schools, and the library, like are they organize field trips or acting pre-COVID? Did any-
Yeah, we did some partnerships where we gave out tablets to the students and in underserved neighborhoods to the schools. And last year, we partnered with DOE Meal Hubs during COVID. They were big partners for getting books out to kids physically and during COVID also, in addition to the working with election officials.
Yeah.
But beyond that, we don't have a lot right now that's going. But definitely, that's something I hear a lot.
Anyone else? Thank you so much, Emma. And please feel free to stay if you would like, but if not, we will definitely stay in touch with you. And like I said, do our best to support all these great initiatives through our communication with the community, through our email blasts. And please keep us posted.
Yeah, I absolutely will. And you are one of my more favorite community boards. You guys reach out a lot, and I really appreciate that. So I'll just say, please keep doing that.
We love our libraries. We were so lucky to get that Battery Park City Library. It has been like such a gem of the neighborhood, as has the New Amsterdam.
Yeah,
But it was so hard for Battery Park City to get over there. And so we're very fortunate to actually have two here, which is, fantastic, especially now with all this great programming.
yes. Yeah.
Where are the kids again? Is that at the main?
They're at all branches.
Oh.
Yeah. To your local branch and all that. Well, supplies left. All right. Well, thank you all very much. Cheers to see you.
So keep in touch.
Will do.
I'll just briefly mention, we had two other items on our agenda. I had hoped to hear back. One of them is the high school admissions. And since the time I put it on the agenda and today, we wrote in conjunction with CB2 a letter to the DOE instead of doing individual resolutions. For the new members, it would be really worth your while, even though you have such young children. It's going to be important for you to know that we have just changed as a city the application methods to high school here. And we have, a series of screened high schools that used to be, some of which were schools where there was a district priority. And we are in the district that had the most priority high schools. It was problematic because other districts did not have priority for their own districts. And in terms of resources, we're really uneven across our city. CB1 and CB2, however, felt that the way they went about doing it was not a successful implementation and would serve to, in our opinion, work directly in other direction from their goals, which are diversification and equity, and which are, two different things. We have an equity problem because of uneven resources, because we never had fair student funding refunded to our schools since 2008. Right. And when that happens, PTAs tend to do a lot of the funding of and not just the extras. What they can do is they can hire the guidance counselors. There's a lot of things that PTA can hire, so that the school can use their budget specifically for hiring more teachers, reducing class sizes. And it creates obviously a lot of inequity across the system. So our letter highlighted that. It highlighted a lot of the problems that we had to deal with that really should have been solved before just changing it, which they did after the deadline for application for private and Catholic school, leaving parents with less choices. And it's created an awful situation, not only because of the uncertainty, but the results were not good, which we also could have predicted. We had 10 to 30% of our kids receive nothing on their list. And that's obviously a problem.
Yeah.
So we are expecting an update on whether they are implementing our requests, demands, suggestions. And we're hoping that they'll be attending our next meeting. I don't think they really know yet how they're going to handle some of these situations. I think some of the problems are being handled at the school level and also through the Office of Parent Engagement at the DOE. So we are going to canvass our schools again, right when they get back into session, sort of look at their registers, update their statistics about who got in, who didn't. And at that time, we'll look to doing another resolution probably. So that's what I've got on that. In terms of the gymatorium at Trinity Place, and I'm laughing, but it's not funny because it's just familiar. You know, this has happened to us before. The school was approved in 2016. At that time, we had a task force working on our overcrowding situation in Lower Manhattan. And in those task force minutes, in the minutes of this committee, in 3 local newspapers, and in a letter from Chancellor Farinya herself, they agreed not to build a gymatorium at the Trinity Place School. Fast forward to a couple of months ago when SCA attended one of PS 150's SLT meetings, and PS 150 is, you might know if your kids are at 234, is just a block away from 234, and it's a 1 class per grade school that's been here for a very long time. And the school is 1 class on a grade, and they're losing their lease. So PS 50 will be moving into the Trinity Place location and in effect starting that school. And it will be PS 150's curriculum, which is slightly different than 234's. Most importantly, their math. And it's going to be a choice school still, which is what it is now. Even though it's a choice school, it used to be that we had, you know, like 20 to 30% variances from other neighborhoods. And because of our overcrowding, almost all the kids came from this neighborhood. Right. But it will be interesting to see when it moves from Tribeca to Thayerdyke, whether that shifts the demographic that goes to the school. It will be interesting to see how the Department of Education handles the admissions in terms of that choice. That has not been decided yet. They have hired a principal, which is great. And we expect to meet them in September. They always do that about a year out. And they also zone a year out, but we won't be zoning. It's going to stay a choice school. So the DOE will be working out what that's going to look like. So while the gymatorium was on the agenda, my meeting with the SCA has not happened. It's going to be Friday at 1 o'clock. At that
SCA
time-
school.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, Sarah. The School Construction Authority, Michael Marisella has retired, and he was the one that worked so closely with us on it. So Andrea Bender is who we will be meeting with, and then I will be reporting back to the committee at the next meeting. And if there's something important, by email before that.
That's this Friday?
It's this Friday. So we'll be discussing what went wrong, why they backpedaled and decided to put a gymatorium in the building against everybody's wishes. Thankfully, people think that the auditorium space that they made available has been taken back. That did not happen. There were originally pre-Ks in this building that were part of the UPK process, meaning not affiliated with the school. And they dissolved those in favor of turning those multipurpose rooms into a de facto auditorium. How it differs, it only seats 140. It doesn't have a high ceiling, has a simple stage. But we felt for an elementary school, like at 234, they do not have a huge auditorium either. But I can't tell you how much that room is used. I think we did a canvassing of the usage of gyms and auditoriums when we went to fight this fight. And the gyms are used 7 days a week, 10 hours a day. And our auditoriums were used about 65% of the time. So if you try to condense those rooms, you can see what's going to happen to programming. It's a disaster at Peck Slip. You can ask anybody who goes there. We had to end up closing the street down to traffic in front of the school so the kids could actually have recess and gym at the same time.
Wow.
And, and it rains, things are bad over there because, if you have some sort of performance going on and there's a gym class going on, you can't have it all, which is what we tried to tell them. Maggie has done a phenomenal job in mitigating that at Peck Slip. The parents are happy for right now, but it was something that we decided to take with us in terms of best practices, which is why we made sure it didn't happen at Trinity Place. So we're very curious as to what happened. I will be meeting with her. I have all my notes prepared from that time. And in the end, the building is only as wide as it is. So we do know the footplate was never totally ideal for a school. So I will be just trying to see, if there's a way to make it regulation size. They sent me the square footage and it is smaller than a regulation gym, which is another problem. So not only is it a gymatorium, it's not even a standard sized gym. And if we find out that the extra square footage is on the length, then we can maybe do something. But if it's on the width, we may have trouble. So we are going to, like I said, meet with them, and then that'll be in our following agenda. And I think that is pretty much it right now, but I thought I'd give you guys a chance to ask some questions if all of that is completely unfamiliar and you have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm happy to go deeper, but I didn't want to, talk over something you already know.
No, I don't think I have any questions right now. I've, listened in on some previous meetings, so I'm a little bit familiar of these issues that you're speaking of. So that's very helpful. And, I'm just very interested in things have been so in flux with the schools, especially over this last year with the changes to the admissions process. De Blasio just said yesterday, we're going to continue to wear masks. Is that the right move? So things like that just kind of, as they evolve, we stay in touch with. So I'm just, here to kind of take it all in and then, see where we can be helpful.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well, we're all hoping that it comes through on its promise. We are concerned because they have not repaired all the schools and have had poor venting.
Yeah.
And windows that don't open.
Yeah.
And that could cause some problems.
Yeah.
So it is in our resolution, it's in our letters, and now we have to let them do their job. So, write weekly letters to the elected officials to check up on them.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yes,
Wow.
so, whenever we do something like this, there's a whole bunch of communication that continues between
Is
you.
that to the city council member or who do they go to?
It's the school construction authority.
Oh, okay.
They're the ones that will be making those repairs. And so we just ask for status updates.
Okay.
We're also asking for a status update on the closing of Edgar Street, the northern westbound lane of that strange little divided street that is to the south of the new school in Trinity Place. We requested, and the DOT said they would extend that sidewalk to create a larger plaza for the kids to arrive at the school, because presently right now the entrance is on Trinity Place. If you've ever seen Trinity Place, right when it comes out of the tunnel, it's very, very busy.
Yes.
So we're encouraging them to put the bus stop on the Greenwich Street side and deepen that southern plat or 7-foot sidewalk and make it, the width of that whole lane of the street so that the kids have more room to arrive safely. So, so that's an issue that we do in conjunction with the transportation committee. So you want to keep an eye on that agenda if you're interested in that topic. Yeah. Anybody else?
There's quite a few Catholic schools were waiting for the high school because I know a bunch of parents that day, they all signed up. They had, actually they planned it. They knew that this was going to.
So were they able to get into the Catholic schools?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
Yeah, so there were some schools that were just like, there was one guy, actually, everybody received his name, that he was like a consultant. Seriously, it just went to all the parents at that point.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we tried to warn them
Yeah.
and had they spent some time introducing families to some of the schools that they, inadvertently sent them to without notice that they didn't choose, we might have different results. But unfortunately, they're going to have to take a look and see what the fallout is of their decision. So, we'll be following that and hopefully making some new best practices after what we see in September.
Are there lines of communication with the community education councils that overlap with CB1?
Yes.
Okay.
So they're the CEC zones, so they get very involved if we have a new school opening.
Yeah.
They're always very involved when we have any new school at all.
Yeah.
So we'll be hearing from them. They might drop in here, I might drop in there.
Okay.
All the parents, downtown, when there are issues that come up at their school that are in the jurisdiction of the CEC, I'll see them up there at the meeting.
Okay.
I want to say up there, it's at 233 7th Avenue. Unfortunately, they used to meet on Wednesdays and they started meeting on the second Tuesday. So
I
they're
think they
overlapping
have
with
a
us.
new meeting tomorrow now, so I think it is on Wednesday.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I requested that they move it
I know,
back to
I have
Wednesday.
this problem too, because I was like the community affairs liaison in my PTA, and I could only do this one or that one this past year. So I would usually like do one live and then watch one on YouTube the next day or something.
Yes. We are really hoping that we work that schedule out because I myself was missing them.
Right.
And they have a significant change in their composition this year. So it's going to be very interesting to see that.
Right.
And we have Kelly McGuire, who was our cherished principal of Lower Manhattan Community School for many years. And he then went to District 15 in Brooklyn for a couple of years. And then he's now our district superintendent, which is wonderful news. And so we'll be working very closely with them.
There's no meeting in August, right? Or is
No meeting in August. Now, only in emergencies. We have called them before. I shouldn't say that. We'll have to see what they, if anybody comes up with something, but,
yeah.
no, I'm not going to call a meeting over an update on the gymnatorium. We can just send out an email if there's something significant. I'm saying that now. I can't imagine a scenario where we would need to, but if we do need to, I will do it. But right now, we don't plan on meeting until the second week of September. And we might be turned around a little bit, actually, on that meeting schedule. So look at your email box because we have the Jewish holidays early this year, which changes our September calendar around. So
I think they sent that out.
did they already send it out?
I thought I got an email
Okay.
about September.
Yeah, so that's our next meeting that's planned anyway. And please feel free, you guys, to reach out to me. The office has my email if you just want to get up to date on anything that you've seen on our agendas to better understand it. And no worries if not. We're just here for you as you get to know our group and our extended group of families who come to our meetings.
Yeah, we're at the 9:14.
Okay, great.
with transportation and street.
Are we together with that?
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. So, do you know if the Trinity Place is on the agenda? Do we have an agenda on that yet?
It should be.
So that must be what's happening. That's good.
How do we put something then on that agenda? Because remember the Titus school, they need help with their bus voting and.
I don't think that that's a problem. I don't think we have a stacked agenda. We'll have the Trinity Place update.
Okay,
But I don't see why not. Can you just send Jenna an
Okay.
email with the info?
all right.
That'd be great. And that's another thing, you guys can bring items to our agenda. We've had some amazing guests that have been brought just by members that, you know, the office and myself didn't even know about. Understood.org, that someone brought, Wendy had brought them to us. They just launched the program at Beacon. So that happened because they came here. And so great things can happen with people who bring things to us. So please feel.
Anything under the umbrella of youth and education.
Yes, I mean, really, it's a wide description.
Okay, yeah.
We have a lot of independent partners, different nonprofits
Okay.
that we partner with that do special programs across the city. That would qualify as something. We generally don't do for-profits as a rule, but, you know, definitely contact the office and we should look at it. But there's a lot of organizations who we support and partner with. And so with sort of that in mind, it can be sports, it can be academic, it can be socio-emotional, it can be learning disabilities, it can be recreation space, safety. We had a big school safety initiative a couple of years ago in our lobbies after that awful situation on the West Side Highway. That really was a great exercise that we did to examine what the lobbies were like in terms of security at all of our downtown schools. So, anything really. Okay, thank you. Anything else? So good to see you in person. I know. No. All right, I guess we
All
can
right.
adjourn for today. I'll see you all in September. Enjoy the. Thank you so much.
Cool.
Thank you.
much.
Thank you, Jen. How does this work?